I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. My first instrument actually was clarinet, which I think is a better way for woodwind players to jumpstart, their musical career, because that allows you to piggyback on other members of the woodwind family with relative ease, because clarinet itself is so challenging. I was 12 years old when I first started playing. I think I was probably predisposed to playing an instrument. Within about a year and a half of beginning to play, I was playing in little blues bands, soul bands, R&B bands. I was mentored by a host of older musicians who, although they didn't give me formal lessons, they gave me a lot of helpful commentary in terms of the rights and wrongs and the do's and don'ts. So that also helped to accelerate my education. Throughout high school, it's really interesting, but I never went to any sports game ever. I never went to a basketball game, a football game, anything, because I was always playing. And so all my peers would say, "Oh, did you see that great touchdown? Or did you see that buzzer shot?" Or whatever. I didn't know what they were talking about because I was always playing on the weekends. I got a scholarship to go to Howard University in Washington, D.C. This was the first time I was able to play in a big band and to play in legitimate, controlled situations, playing well-composed and arranged charts. So then I had to blend, I had to play in a saxophone section, I had to learn how to thrust and throw my sound, because I had 2 rows of brass behind me, trombones and trumpets. So that was a really good experience. And I transferred from there after 2 years to the Berklee College of Music in Boston, which was yet another great stepping stone in my education, because I was surrounded in a conservatory environment by some of the most adept and outstanding young musicians that the world had offered at that time, many of whom are amazing stars and icons of the music right now. And I was very fortunate to be classmates with many of them at that time. So I have a wonderful artist label entitled Inner Circle Music, and I've been able to assemble a cast of some of the most stellar, amazing, innovative, and individualistic young talents that the world has to offer right now. The ranks are overflowing with an abundance of talent and hope and experimentation and innovation. So I'm glad to have some say or some small part in presenting these people. One of the unfortunate pitfalls that a lot of young people fall into or face is that they get caught up in trying to adhere to the expectations of others. My advice to young musicians who endeavor to make a name for themselves or make some kind of mark on this this whole realm of music would be to seek out essentials and components that help them to readily carve out some level of individuality and I guess idealism in their sound. I tell all my students to start putting the ingredients to your recipe together as soon as you possibly can. It's never too soon. It's never too soon to start thinking about ultimately, in terms of a bigger picture, what you want to do, leading a band, how you want to sound, what kind of compositions you want to write. Coltrane allegedly fell asleep with the horn in his mouth in his bed, and that kind of thing. That's why we're still talking about Coltrane. And in order to be regarded that way, you have to make the sacrifice. So there are really no shortcuts. It's doable, but you have to do it.